What's up, Jushay
What's
Signature?
up? How you doing?
I'm good. We got
That's
you
good.
live and direct. So
Mm-hmm.
happy to have you on tonight. We appreciate you.
No.
So
I'm
again,
happy to be on. We appreciate you.
I introduced you before you came on. So just again, of course, my warmest welcomes to you, Miss Jushay Signature. Thank you for
Right.
being on. What's the weather like today in Chicago?
Oh man, it's decent. It's not too bad. It's like I want to say 83 degrees.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's not
Mm-hmm.
bad. It's
Not
still
bad at
summer.
all.
Yeah, it's still summer.
Yeah,
So
it's
let's.
actually gonna get cold next week. It's supposed to be like it's going down in the 60s.
Oh, that's too much. Here in the Bay, that's that your 60 is that's like 20 degrees, really, right?
I know, right? Yeah. The
I can't.
leaves falling. It's like it feel like fall right now. It don't even feel like
Yeah.
summer no more. Mm-hmm.
Well, that's better than snow, because I know y'all get that too, right?
Woo! Oh my God, you don't want to drive in the snow.
I don't even want to know about it. Let's not talk
Look,
about
look,
it.
look. Look, that's how we know if a person can drive or not. When you can drive in the snow, you can drive.
Yeah, I can't drive
Mm-hmm.
in the snow,
Oh no,
but I
no.
can drive though. I drive very well,
Yeah.
actually.
Okay.
So tell us, who is Jushay Signature?
Oh well, Jushay Signature. From the South Side of Chicago. I've been doing music for a long, long time since I was like 8 years old.
Mm-hmm.
My cousin, he actually inspired me to start doing music. I mean, I don't know. Every time like I do music, I'm always evolving. I'm always different. You know what I mean? So I'm just constantly on the rise.
Yeah,
Cause
you
I'm
definitely are. I told you
yeah.
that last night. I'm very impressed with you and your talent. Amazing lyricist.
That's what's up. Cause I mean, that's really where it started from. I started doing music, like doing poetry first. And then
Mm-hmm.
I started putting instrumentals to my music, like later on, down the line when I first started doing music. But it was like poetry, like just being able to express myself. That was the main thing that I really wanted to do. So that's why
Beautiful.
my music is always like, it got hidden messages.
Yeah, yeah. So how old
hmm
were you when you were doing poetry?
I would say probably around like maybe 10, 11. I mean, I started trying to rap
Wow.
when I was 8. I sucked, okay? I was terrible. But over time, it's just like riding a bike. You just practice, and like again, like if you're super passionate at what you want to do, it just becomes like I want to say nature. It just becomes natural. You just
Mm-hmm.
get it.
Yeah. So you would, and then
hmm
you started putting your rhymes together. The poetry became hip hop. When did it
Yep.
become? When did you know you were an actual hip hop artist?
I mean, I don't know. With poetry, it kind of feel like it was still hip hop without the music, though.
Yeah.
Because I always had rhythm. Black people, we got rhythm.
Right.
So like, and we got soul too. So it was like at the end of the day, I would say probably like around 10, 11, 12 ish. I was kind of like just constantly doing the poetry. But then I want to say probably around like 13, 14, 15. That's when somebody was like, you should put music behind this. And
Mm-hmm.
I ain't gonna lie to you, that was the process of like almost like self-discovery, because now you got to find the beat. You get what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
you got to make sure, like even with music, like how instrumentals sound, they all sound different, especially like a producer like Contraband. Like he's very diverse with
Yes.
how he put his music together. I always ask him, how did you do this, or what was
Mm-hmm.
you thinking about when you did this? And he's just like one of those people that's just like, man, I felt it. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
a lot
Super
of the
dope.
time, right. So a lot of the times when I'm in a booth, like my process of just like trying to come up with different ideas is based off my emotions, how I feel.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So who would you say influenced you? Who influenced your music?
First my cousin, because he the one that introduced me to music. His name Jack Social. He an artist as well, so shout out to him.
Shout out.
For sure. He's deep. He's super deep. Oh my God, he's deep. But he's how can I say this? He's like different too.
Mm.
He almost come off like he emo because he's so deep. He like literally like the outcast, but it's good because it's like, wow, I didn't know a person could think on that particular level and go so like it's past self, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
It's more like I want to say humanitarian. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like so he's really good with that, just being deep and into emotions and stuff. And that's pretty much how I came to be who I am today. But if I had to like let's say mainstream artists, is that what you pretty much
Yeah, it
asking?
could be mainstream or yes, definitely family, because that's always, it's always inside. But yeah, who would you say
For
that
sure.
influences you from the industry? Because I already told you who I can take it back to the classics I told you, when I first heard you. Well, not even classics. I hear Remy Ma. I hear MC Light. As I told you, I mean, your style is definitely, I mean, you are rhyming. This is not a commercial business. This is some serious gas, if you will,
For sure.
So.
For sure. And I appreciate that. I would say definitely Drake. Of course, Tupac, but I really love Drake because he's like more of now. Like Tupac, I wasn't really like around for that time. Like when he was out, I was born. You get what I'm saying? So it was like, I'm hearing it later on down the line. Yeah. But like when it comes to Drake, Drake is like literally like one of my biggest influences because he taps into his emotions. You know what I mean? And to be a male, to actually have the courage to be able to, just like literally go that deep down and intricate, like with the music. Like I feel everything that he talks about. So he's definitely one of my inspirations for sure.
Well, shout out to Drake. I'm sure if you're watching. Hello, Drake.
I know, right? Everybody loves Drake, but it's something about Drake. I just feel like, man, like he was always underestimated. He was always the one that was like, and then he passionate. He loves music, and that's me. That's me. Underestimated and always, you know what I'm saying? Think about it. He a Canadian rapper. So nobody expected. You get what I'm saying? So even with me, like when people first see me, they instantly think like she's a singer.
Right. Yeah. Right. Well, I mean, we could jump around, but let's talk about that because, it's the elephant in the room always. You're a female hip hop artist. Yeah. So instead of always, someone looks at you first and says, yes, she's female, she sings, but no, you're female and you rap. Rhyme. So what are some of the challenges as a female lyricist in the hip hop industry?
Man, it's a lot of them, but I just say like a few. I would say one, boxing me in as a female rapper. Like when people want to do songs with me, they instantly want to do like love music or like maybe some freaky type,
sexual
music.
Song. Yeah. That's tough.
And I can do it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I'm versatile. Like I love tapping into different sides because like as humans, we are all, multi-dimensional. So I can do it, but it's just like, one of those things where when I'm not in the mood to do it, like, I'm just like, okay, let's do something like this, but they always want to box me in and put me in a certain category and say, well, do this. And that's one thing that I battle with, but I don't really like battle with it so much of now because I think like I've branded myself, right? Put a face to the brand.
Absolutely.
And I think people know how to, come to me now.
Yeah.
I think that was more in the past. I would say another challenge I would have would be being a female. It's kind of like one of those things. Like I got this new song. It's called Against Me. Matter of fact, remember I told you I was shooting a video?
Yes.
Yeah, Against Me.
Okay, Against Me.
Yep, got so many odds against me, right? So that song is really touching on, like I said, a line where I said, stigma around my gender and my color, I'm gonna change the structure. Top of the hierarchy, I'm never under. So at the end of the day, being Black, and being a woman, those are two stigmas like I battle with, or just in general, a lot of, female Black women battle with, because at the end of the day, they looked at at the bottom of the hierarchy.
Yeah. Well, it's a male dominated industry, especially when it comes to hip hop, you know what I'm saying? So I always wonder, like some of the struggles. And I mean, I feel true. I think if I put my strength to it, I probably could rap too, but I've never really, someone was asking me, I did like, do you rap? I'm like, I don't know. I probably do. Cause somebody probably wrote for me because I never really thought putting it all together like that. Or how it comes out like you.
You know what? But it would be different. But I think because we can relate on so many different levels, it would have some of the similar messages. Because like one thing about you is you have a singing voice. So, right now music is constantly evolving on the like sound side. So like just think about like as far as like if you was to tap into like rapping and implementing your singing voice with it, I think it would come off different as far as sonically, but I think it still would have some of those same hidden messages that that all women
you sing too. You sing.
No, I be trying.
Wake up in the morning, you singing. Because that's singing.
No, you're right. You're right.
Another artist, he was saying it's called something how they sing and rap together, but I never
they got a name for it now? Okay.
Yes, a name for it. I think it's called J something. When I interviewed Easy Money last week, he was telling me it's called J I can't remember what it's called. I'll have to find out, but it's called something when you're doing the rapping and the singing together like that, where it comes out like that. So it's pretty, I think it's dope, you know?
Oh, wow. Okay. That's what's up. Hey, when you figure out the name for that,
I
definitely let
sure
me
will.
know.
I'll let you know. I will let you know.
I'm
So
interested.
let's go into that then. So like after you did your poetry, you start rapping, and then of course you just figured, you know, I'm going to start putting out some music. So what year would you say that was? Because I mean, I went back to, of course, 2016, 2015, 2014.
Right. I'm out there for sure.
Yeah. What was that first hit where you was like, this is me, this is what I'm going to do, this is where I'm going?
Oh Lord was definitely.
Oh
I mean, don't get
Lord.
me wrong. I had stuff before that. Really, I had this one song. I can't remember the actual name of it, but I had this one song that's when I noticed like everybody, they was like feeling my music, and I'm like, okay, you know what? I got to take it to the next level. I got to, you know, put it out there more. You know, social media, again, it's a gift and a curse, but when you figure out that it's a tool that you can use to, you know, further your career, it's one of those things where you just like, okay, this is another passion that I have to be passionate in, because again, everything is strategical, you know. So
oh Lord, so that was 2017.
For sure.
Yeah. Okay.
2017.
So that's big. That's a big song. I was listening to that too. I was telling Contrabands when I was, you know, posting some of the music yesterday. I was like, I went through her whole discography. I mean, but I'm sure I didn't, because I'm sure you got songs in your catalog we don't know about. You know,
tons.
You know, so what would you say is the difference then between? I mean, that's only a few years ago, 2-3 years ago. So what would you say the difference is in your creative process with Oh Lord compared to where you are now with this hot LP, this singles coming out with COVID-19 and Wake Up?
I would say definitely
Bully.
I'm sorry.
Too.
And Bully.
Bully.
Okay, well, again, one thing I've learned, oh Lord, when I first came out with that record, that was me really just like super hip hop, right? That was me kind of, you know, based off going on how I feel, just really just spitting it from the soul. You get what I'm saying? Whereas now, like, I'm implementing soul, body, and just, you know, my mind, and just sonically, just sound in general. Like, again, like, I'm strategic with everything. So when I notice, like, okay, it's a particular sound that people are looking for, you know, I learned, like, okay, well, not really imitating, but it's more so of like trying to figure out, how can I be placed in a certain, you know, genre or category that I want to go into?
Your own category. Yeah.
Exactly.
So talk about that sound then. What is the actual sound and the message that you are wanting your listeners to hear? I mean, because I can hear a whole bunch of shit talking. I love
right. I definitely talk my shit. You know what I mean?
It's real shit though. Like, this is really good shit talking, you know? But what is the message that you want your listeners to know you know, what you're delivering?
I would just say, man, be authentic. I mean, you heard God's vision, right? You know, being authentic, understanding that, you know, God gave us all the vision. You know what I mean? He gave us the power to be able to, you know, implement whatever, you know, our dream is. And I think that's one of the main things, you know, we have to continue to be ourselves. There's going to be a lot of different, you know, odds against us. It's going to be people telling us you can't do this. But if it's really something you're passionate in, just do it for the passion. Don't do it for the money. Don't do it to try to prove people wrong. Because I ain't gonna lie to you, I went into a battle of like really trying to prove a lot of people wrong. And that's where my passion kind of come from, because that's a form of motivation, right?
Yeah.
But again, you don't want that motivation to steer you in the wrong direction. And that's why I always implement God in my music too, because I mean, he always helped me be like, you know what, I'm not doing this for other people. I'm doing this for me. You know what I mean? So I'm doing it for me. So that's important to me. But I just say, man, like, love yourself, you know, trust yourself, trust the process, and really just be authentic.
Well, let's talk about God's vision. That's one of the quotes that I had actually added to the post, or I should say one of the bars. And in case no one has heard that, it says, God knows I'm gifted, productive, and positive. That's why he gave me the vision.
Yes.
Okay. So very, very powerful, you know, and again, it goes back to what you just said, like what you are, he who is in you is greater than he who is in the world. You know what I'm saying? Right. Period. So what you're doing is utilizing your strength, and you're putting it out there through your creative, you know, sound. And I think it's amazing. So let's go into a little bit of, you know, your collectiveness and your
collectivism, right?
Yes. Because I feel like, you know, like, I mean, just listening to you, I'm hearing like theory, like you're like a theologist, like even so.
Yes. Oh my God, like I love you. I swear to God, because like a lot of people, I'm serious. Like I don't care what popular radio show you go to, but with you, it's like you really doing a deep dive. You get what I'm saying? And that's what I can appreciate about you. Like, you really, you know, get intricate and like really deep dive and say, okay, you know what? Let me literally like do my research. A lot of people don't even do that. You know what I mean? So I honor and respect that from you.
Thank you. Well, it's important, and that's why I was saying earlier. It's like, I want to don't want to just do interviews. I want interviews with like some people that I can like. I'm interested in you. Like, you know, you're sitting off this dope vibe. You know, it exudes through your music, and then of course, you know, if you're talking about something, and that's the big deal to me. Like, what are you talking about? You know what I'm saying? Because if you're not talking about anything, I can't hear you. You know,
can't relate either. Can't relate.
Because listening and hearing are two different skill sets, right? It's like I can hear you, but I can't listen to what, you know, you're saying. So it's like you have to really understand that. And you know, that's what I got from you. So I know you like to read, obviously.
I do.
What kind of books do you like to read?
Oh man, I be reading books like Life Path, like dealing with like, you know, numerology. Okay. I read books like I had this one book I was reading like yesterday. It's called the Mind of Knowledge, and kind of just understanding what knowledge is, and knowing that, you know, it's really no such thing as right or wrong. So you're right, like I'm really like philosophical, and I do that in my music a lot too. Like I'm always very logical. Again, I'm kind of rebellious too, because like I kind of always try to go against the grain. Yes. Like what, you know, my generation was like, not my generation, but the past generation, they may have did things this way, but I'm always like, well, that I tried that way, but that didn't work for me. So let me try something else. You get what I'm saying? So that's why, exactly. And that's one thing I can appreciate about the evolution of music now, because they are doing things different, you know? They're not doing everything like how it was done before. You get what I'm saying? But still appreciate what they was doing before, because it's a blueprint, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. So if you go back into like where we are right now, I mean, there's a lot of people that are, you know, struggling and things are going on, but we literally are in the middle of a shift. Like in the middle of March this year, you know, the world was taken by storm. We all were told that something called COVID-19, you know, has overtaken the world, you know, the bubonic plague, whatever they want to call it. It's real, definitely, but it just basically, it took us all by storm. So what has that process been for you? I mean, I know you've released music in the process, so that's part of the shift.
Always working.
Yes. What was the mindset though? Like when all that happened, they were told, I don't know if you were told to stay home, or what was your mindset when that happened?
I definitely would stay. I was definitely told to stay home, but you know, because I still work, and I use the money that I work for to invest in my music, because I'm so passionate in it. You know, an essential worker, they still have you working. So I'm still out here, and I'm still working, you know. And at the end of the day, like, of course they tell us to stay home, everything closing, but I'm looking at this particular time, even though it is a mishap, you know, a lot of grandparents, they are passing away from it, you know, even exactly. And not even just grandparents, but kids, you know, like at one point, you know, the news is telling us, oh, just, you know, older people were dying from it, but damn near everybody was dying from it. Like at this point, people don't know really what this is. You get what I'm saying? Like we all speculate, but for the most part, for when COVID-19, the pandemic really hit, it just took to me like, you know what, I have to really be involved with my inner self. So I took a step back and said, what are some of the goals, and what are some of the things I want to improve on, and I want to, you know, implement. This is my time to kind of like just really be to myself, because a lot of the times we go with it, you know what I mean? We always want to be out, we always want to, you know, talk to people, have fun, and that's good too, because life is all about a balance, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
But just going into dipping down and delving into self is the most, you know, one of the, you know, most significant and best thing that you can ever like kind of do. So that's one thing that I had to do.
Well, I think it's beautiful. I mean, you know, like I said, me personally, I've been social distancing for 2 years, you know, so a lot of this was kind of like, well, when they said stay home, like, well, that's what I do anyway, you know?
Exactly,
I mean,
right?
I stay away from people's energy because honestly, it scares me. I be like, I can't, you know? Right. But no, and not to be funny, I just, you know, like what you mentioned, when you're zoning and you're creating, it's just, I go to work. And, you know, I mean, I do certain things, go to pick and choose certain functions, but I mean, my real place is in this house. You know what I'm saying? Because this is like where I dwell.
And that's the Taurus in us, stability, foundation.
So we discovered that. So those of you listening, we're both on the cusp. I'm an April Taurus cusp with Aries, and she's Taurus with Gemini.
Yes. And guess what? You know what's crazy? I know in COVID-19 you heard it, but my ascendant is Gemini.
Yes. Well, somebody told me that I was Gemini moon, so I don't even know what that means.
Wow.
What does that mean?
Well, with the moon sign, it's all about emotions. It's all about, like, a lot of people not gonna see your Gemini side until they're really close to you. So your close people will see. Yeah, I can say pop off, but one thing about Gemini that I've learned is that, like, Gemini, I hate these AirPods. They always like falling out. But like, with Gemini, one thing about us is we love playing in the garden. You get what I'm saying?
Yes.
But with the Taurus, we love building the garden.
Yes.
So
foundation.
Like exactly. So like when you got foundation, but then you got like this aspect, and it's like balance. Like I want to play, but then sometimes like I want to build. So playing and building, it works. Actually, it works pretty well.
Yeah, because like you said, you need a little bit of balance. I mean, all work and no play, right?
Right.
You can't have that. So
right, you're gonna be old, like
real old. Yeah, exactly. I definitely have. I love to play. I like to play in the sand. Build sand castles. Like the hell with the kids.
Right. I still got my youthfulness to me, and that's what I can tell. Like when we be having our conversations, you funny. Like you be having me rolling. I swear.
We was going to a whole different place. Like, okay, let's talk about this interview. Like, where are we?
Right. Exactly.
Crazy. So so we go from COVID and of course staying home, and then of course because we're all at home, then we're starting to see things now. People, because there's no concerts, there's no shows, there's no games. You know what I'm saying? So people are watching TV, and in the middle of them watching, George Floyd's murder was filmed. Woo. So what was that like for you?
Oh man, when I first seen that video, oh my God, it was terrifying. It's almost like I got a song too. I don't know if you heard it. I'm gonna have to send it to you, or you're gonna love this song. It's called Black Lives Matter.
Okay.
Contraband's definitely produced this record.
Okay.
And, yeah, he definitely, man, that's like my producer right there. Me and him, we like locked in, but we always found a way to work together. But
yes.
Black Lives Matter, man, it focused so much on that, and bully as well. Like I know we got a video actually like already filmed, already ready to go. We just getting a lot of videos in order right now. But with the George Floyd, it really inspired me to kind of go back to my roots and kind of say, you know what, let me go back to, because I'm very political too. You get what I'm saying?
Yes.
And I'm for my people. Black Lives Matter all day.
Absolutely.
All day, because I'm Black. Like I'm a Black woman, you know what I mean? Again, those are the challenges we have to face. Like we have to walk outside and think about, man, okay, did I do this right? It's like a checklist. You got to make sure you do everything right. And even when you do everything right,
they still
find something.
Yeah.
They still find something wrong.
Yeah. Horrible.
And in Kenosha, I know Kenosha, Illinois, is with the guy that got, killed or whatever because he was like trying to break up a fight. And man, it's just so much. It's like after everything that happened, you would think that they would kind of be more responsible. Even with the Sandra Bland, I don't know if on YouTube I got like performances as well, and I kind of like shouted out Sandra Bland because I know you remember her, right?
Yeah, I talk about her and Breonna Taylor and in my song "You're Gonna Know My Name." So talking about all of it, there's so many of them.
So many
before we were born, right? Emmett Till,
Emmett Till,
on for years. So it triggers a nerve,
and it's terrifying.
Seeing something like that, absolutely terrifying. And I was telling somebody the other day, like as strong as I am, because we could be very strong, I think people should always still check on the strong people, because as strong as you can be, it's still I break down too, and I remember maybe I want to say 2 days later when people start coming out and all the the protests start going on in the whole world, even all the way to London, people speaking up, speaking out, Black, white people speaking up for us, I just broke down. I broke down, and I don't know where I was afraid, I was terrified, I was angry, all these emotional feelings that just came out of nowhere one early morning watching the news.
Wow. And that's what happens. Because like I did this. Remember I was telling you about Black Lives Matter. I did this particular record, and it focused on that. I said social media is the new lynch, and what I meant by that is I never see any white people getting killed on the internet. I never, and I never run across any Chinese or different races, but when I always see us as black people, like the black face just being killed on the internet. And to me, that's a new form of lynch, like the picking, like
Yes.
the picnics that they used to have. You know, picnics came from, you know, when they used to lynch us in front of their children, in front of, you know, just everybody, like it was a social gathering or activity.
Ridiculous.
And I feel like that's kind of what social media is doing, and it's instilling fear, like unconsciously. Like even when we watching these videos, like what do you think that's doing to our mental health? You get what I'm saying? Like it's important to understand that aspect. And then the fact that you always see black people getting gunned down and killed on the internet.
Yeah, on the internet. So we have to stop, like literally, because I get on and I post and I get off. I mean, I like to kind of scroll a little, just a little, but I go to specific pages and they're usually quote pages, you know, and unless I see something that somebody I know has tagged me or public, because it's so much, I don't even want to see it anymore. You know, it's too much, you know, and our mindfulness is very essential right now. I had an interview the other day with Adrian Howdegi, and it was amazing because he spoke about that in the middle of this pandemic. You know, like even before the pandemic, we still have to focus on our mental health. You know, I think black folks are scared to talk about mental health. I think it's the crazy ones that don't go get therapy. You know what I'm saying? So like, if you think you're so strong that you don't need to talk to somebody or even talk and vent to a loved one that you trust, you know, you got to be careful with that, because holding it all in, you end up exploding. And, you know,
for sure. And that's why, like, I ain't gonna lie to you, music has been the way of expressing how I feel. And that's exactly therapy. You said it. Therapy. It's like and I would definitely go to a therapist, and you know, recommend everybody to go to a therapist. I actually have a therapist, and I think that at the end of the day, it's healthy to be able to talk to someone, to be able to, you know, get everything out, because it's something about being able to release. It's like a catharsis, you know, just being able to release it. It feels good. It's a pleasure, and that's why I love music.
And somebody that's not going to judge you, you know.
Exactly. And guess what? The microphone, literally, this is somebody I vent to. You get what I'm saying?
Oh,
like,
I love him.
This is
He's
my
so
best,
my
best friend. He doesn't talk back. Right. He doesn't talk back. He doesn't tell me how to feel. He doesn't tell me how to be. Right? Like, it's just like, it makes sense. It's like, I love you. Like, for real. I love you. Yes.
He doesn't talk back. So you have a little treat. You have a treat for us tonight, since we're talking about, you know, the Black Lives Matter and just the movement and just freedom of speech, pretty much. So your treat is called.
All right, let's see. I wonder, do you lames let it game for how it is? I wonder, do you wish to change the game for what it is? And if you do not change it, rearrange it to who it is. Get your attention, listen to truth, and see what optimism is. Things that matter most, things that don't get mentioned. This poverty, philosophers, ideology, Socrates, unemployment rates, and this fucked up economy. We should start looking how to fix this shit logically, and honestly be interested in seeing how we came here biologically. Hip hop is dead, but let's dig it up archaeology. The new shit we rap about fucks us up psychologically. Honestly, society, we living in this fraud because it ain't no damn democracy. America utopian and all because it's flawed in the music, and we soaking in the reason why we fall. Backs against the wall. Drowning in the pool of hatred, want to see us all suffer from enslavement, but we got to keep our weight up whether we have to crawl back onto the pavement, exit the slave ship, back to the basics, see what slave meant. Slavery disabled us economically. Establishment established owning us apostrophe. While telling us we free, hand us the mic and weed and display us on TV. While y'all conform to the norm and deform this art, I'm going to sit back and relax and tear it apart. Transform the norm while I inform all of this youth about the truth and untruth. While y'all cruise to this music, refuse to start, misuse and abuse hip-hop art. I'm going to rip it apart, reform this art form. Stole our identity. Stripped us from our culture like vultures and expect us to live in serenity. Now entity is what we've became, and my aim is to continue to blame the same person that gave us our last name. Is what is built in us. Drill separation between each other. That way it is ingrained in us, and it's sadness because it's still in us. The only emotion I'm feeling is shame on us, the blame on us. We constantly fault them. It remain on us. We enslave ourselves. We chain ourselves. No need for lynching. We hang ourselves. Nigga, we call each other gender. Nigga, we call each other. Trigger, we shoot each other. Black genocide, abortion, suicide, we kill each other. And you would think we would feel each other.
My God. My God.
Yes.
Let me see all the fire signs, please. Okay, my girl.
For
listen,
sure.
Listen.
And that's me really, to be honest with you, like I didn't do like the way I would do Bully with this record because it's all about the words. It's about what I'm saying. You know what I mean? It's about I want people to be able to hear me.
Yes. And we could hear you. And I'm so proud of you.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I'm proud of you, like just having this platform for us all to be able to relate and come together and talk, and just me being able to share my experience with you. This is a beauty. Thank you.
Thank you.
Sure.
But yeah, you're extremely, girl. Let me tell you something. That's why I get chills. Like I get chills, and that's why I said like it's. And I'm not picking and choosing who is on here, but I feel God is sending people to me, and it's like there's some I've already had been following and stuff because these are some of the same people I was following 2 years ago, and then I just went dormant, and then I came back and they were there, and there was a reason why I was following them then. So some of you, of course, now. With Contraband Beats, introduced by E-Rain, and then Contraband introducing me to you and Bizzle. And, it's just, I know this is all, it's not coincidence. I don't believe in coincidence. You know what I'm saying?
God gave us the vision and it's implementing right now.
So talk about you mentioned about the internet. So, I mean, what would you say as far as what the industry has done? I know it's changed a little bit, but how would you say it's helping, the music business as far, especially right now, because there's no performing?
Woo, man, it's helping a lot. I mean, just think of like what we're doing right now. We're being able to touch people. Again, it's giving us exposure on both ends. You get to, kind of cross promote, get to, like a lot of my people get to like kind of, be introduced by you. I'm getting introduced by the people. Exactly. Networking is very important. I think that with social media, it's been one of those clutch type of things. Like it's always been here for us to kind of utilize, but I think now because of COVID and just having to like social distance, it's kind of like one of those things where it became a tool that's always been helpful, but now even more helpful. That's why the percentage rate of everything is kind of like going up. Statistically, like internet is everything right now. I mean, think about even like people not being able to go shopping, in the stores. Like people are doing that, but because of the looting, because of social distancing, a lot of these businesses are closing as well. So it's kind of like one of those
big businesses too.
Right, big businesses. So they have to like use shipping, like go through the internet. Again, the internet is a powerful source, and I think at the end of the day, it's a gift. It can be a curse depending on how you utilize it and how you put your information out there. But at the end of the day, once you learn and you're strategic about every single thing you do, you will learn that, internet is actually powerful. It connects us. I mean, think about the protest that was going on, how you think everybody is being able to communicate. It's a communicational tool.
Yes. So
wise. And everything is right. And everything is about communication. That you know what's funny? That's what I went to school for, and that's what like I literally like. That's my thing, communication. That's why I love music so much. It's expression. It's everything.
Now I'm gonna circle back a little bit because you also you went to school and you played basketball too.
Woo! Yeah, so I got a little 3. Hey, I got a 3.
Shoot it to the left. Tell me a little to the left.
Shoot it to the left. Look, you already know. Look, I got on the Wake Up hoodie right now. Shout out to my friend. She actually got me this hoodie and shit.
That's nice.
Yeah.
So tell us about your basketball days. What position did you play in high school?
I did point guard. Yeah, okay. But I didn't play too long, if anything, because I was like, that's when I really got into music. So it was like a transition. Like when my cousin, like he started doing everything for me, I kind of like was like, man, I need to really be serious about it. Because remember, I started at 8 doing the music, but then like I wasn't really super serious. I was just trying to do something, and I wasn't really good. But then like music kind of took over basketball. But now I still play. Like I still go to the court. It's like a form of exercise for me. So even though I don't do it like for a career, I still implement, basketball as an exercise. You know what I mean? Like still trying to, get my stamina up and my endurance. So when I perform, I'm ready to perform,
Yes. So what would you change about the industry, Jushay?
What would I change about the industry?
You could change something. What would you change about the music industry?
You know what I don't like? I'm going to be honest with you. I understand everybody has this quick you know, attention span, right? So the attention span is like super like, you know, like a squirrel almost, right?
Yeah, right.
It's cool. It's cool, but then it's like a part of me that's like, it's like it takes away from the creativity.
Mm-hmm.
So if you don't really sit down and have time to be able to, you know, curate whatever you're trying to create for the people in the audience, it kind of like make you just come up with some, you know, bullshit. You know what
Yeah,
I mean? So
yeah.
that's why when you hear commercial music, it's all like you can't really feel it. It might sound good, but
Mm-hmm.
you don't feel it. You get what I'm saying? So I think when you put feeling and sound together, it's like you can't lose. You
Mm-hmm.
know? So I feel
Absolutely.
like that's what the industry is missing. I mean,
Yeah.
it has it, but a lot of people don't really. I don't know. You know what? Maybe when it comes to just the human race, we kind of like somehow tapped out of our emotions, if that
Mm-hmm.
makes sense.
Yeah,
Like
makes sense.
we try not to be as emotional, but I think that's like taking away the
The
feeling
music.
of life
Yeah,
and music
we
and
need to
music.
hear that. People want to hear
Exactly.
that somebody else went through some pain, you know what I'm saying? But they also want to hear, of
Mhm.
course, the outlet or how they got through it, you know,
For
and
sure. For
relate
sure.
to what's going on. A lot of your music is the reception I get is just, you know, you are relating to so many people, you know, and not just one culture even, you know,
Mhm.
not
Mhm.
just one genre. I don't like to categorize anybody, you
That's
know,
what's up.
even like
That's
that's what
what's
I
up.
said, not just saying you're hip hop. Like this is we on a whole nother level here,
Oh, another level.
a
Right.
whole nother level. So, you
Mhm.
know, we'll say hip hop because that's of course the category, but I think this is something bigger, and you're creating
Mm.
a sound that nobody is really tapped into.
Oh, that's what's up. That's beauty. Cause I mean, I ain't gonna lie to you. Like I hear a lot of artists all the time, and I'm always a student of the game. So I'm always
Mhm.
constantly just listening, and learning.
Yeah.
But man, that's one hard thing. Like when you're trying to imitate and when you're trying to be yourself. Like being yourself is the most easiest thing to do, but people make it hard because they're they're not tapping into the inner self.
Yeah.
You get
Well,
what I'm
they're not
saying?
ready because they're not ready for you.
They not, nah.
So,
And
and
that's why I said in Wake Up. In Wake Up, I said this. I
yeah.
said, I just stun on them because they don't want me to preach. You get what
Mm,
I'm saying? And my grandpa, he told me that I had this one album before Now Trender, and I had another album. It was before I called myself Jushay Signature.
mm,
And at first I used to call myself just Jushay,
mm,
right?
mm-hmm,
But Jushay Signature came from because I always write in cursive, and I
mm-hmm.
always knew like one day down the line I would always be able, my signature would matter. So it's like it's a part of me that felt like I'm going to leave a legacy.
Yes.
Yeah.
Amen. Yes. We got
Hmm.
two comments here. I want to go into the audience. Contraband Beat said, Jushay, aka Female Drake, you are on fire.
Woo! That's what's up.
Okay.
That's my inspiration, Drake. So it's like when I hear that, I'm instantly like, yes,
And then we
that's what
got
I'm going
Dre on
for.
Hollywood. Let me see. Let me go back. Can you see it? I lost it.
Determined Radio, what's up?
There we go. Jushay got them bars and super creative. So
Whoa, Drake Hollywood.
absolutely. I mean, and so
What's
so
up?
tell us what's next. What's next for Jushay Signature?
Oh man, tons of visuals. I mean, you're really gonna, right now we getting the face behind the music, but
Yes.
eventually you guys are gonna get so many visuals, so much more music. I mean, I'm excited. Like, I'm really excited about like right now. I haven't really been prevalent on social media as much because
Mhm.
I've been working. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
when it comes to music, you can, it's a time for everything. You have to be strategic. Like if I'm always on social media, I'm not working. You
Right.
get what I'm saying?
Right.
So if you don't see me on social media, just know I'm working and
Absolutely.
I'm collecting. And
Yes.
it's a strategy with it. And I think a lot of people, with me, I'm one of those artists that like I wouldn't mind taking a year off.
Mm-hmm.
And again, the attention span is so short, so everybody's trying to push so much music at once.
Yeah.
But it's like, do you have the time to actually create the best material? And
Mm-hmm.
that's what I'm about. Like, I want it to be genuine, authentic, and I want it to be me, of course, me.
Absolutely.
So
Well, it's a delight, and and in closing, so I'm not going to keep you all night because we could talk, we could talk. They would probably have to cut us. We only get 59 minutes out here, so they would
right,
cut us off. But
they
again, I
would.
just want to say, hats off to you, just what you're doing. Just I feel very blessed
Mm-hmm.
to be introduced to you, and I'm very proud of what you're doing, and I want you to keep up the great work. you know, continue to tap in. And of course, you know, how you put God first, that's where it's at.
Always.
You know, we talked about
always.
that.
Always. I swear to God. Like, I be praying to him, and everything I pray about is like manifesting. You know what I mean? And I swear to God, like, I'm not even like a super religious person, but I'm super spiritual. And it's like, when I pray and I really talk to God and I ask him for things, or not always ask, but I always just talk to him and just constantly have him in the back of my head and just be like, he's in me. Like, I always get what I want. You know what I mean? So it's like,
well, you getting it. You getting it.
Man.
And I continue to tell people, because, like, you know, someone came on the other day, you know, people try to throw you off a little bit. I go, where is your music? And what are you doing? I'm like, my music is inside of me. You know what I'm saying? And what's inside of me is always going to come out, you know. I continue, though, to push other people's music because I love music. You know, you're not an artist if you're not into other music. You're not an artist if you're not listening to other producers.
Student of the game.
So I just think it's crucial, because, you know, the manifestation part is big. And I mean, that's biblical, really, to basically speak things that aren't as though they are. You have to see them first. You're not going to get where you think you're going if you don't see yourself already there.
Yeah, and to be honest with you, I'm gonna be honest, I don't know if everybody do this, but I actually create vision boards. You know what I mean?
I do do that. I sure do. Been doing it forever. And I do it in my living room. I was telling Bizzle the other night, I done got at least about 275 Grammys already.
Woo! Now,
yeah, I walk up to my counter every night, you know, call my name.
Let me bow down.
My name, you know, so you have to do that yourself. And I'm not just talking about with accolades. I'm talking about with everything. You know what I'm saying? The keys to the new house. You know what I'm saying? The keys to the car. You know, the money in the bank account. You have to see it before it's there. Right. You know, and write it out and thank God for it. Like, thank you in advance for the, you know, for the check that's in the mailbox.
right.
That kind of thing. So keep doing what you're doing. I'm so proud of you. And again, for everybody,
I'm proud of you too.
Thank you, sweetie. This is Jushay Signature. I am Monique Marie, and this has been the face behind the brand.
All right, see you, Monique.